Thank you all so much for coming to this panel. If you love D&D so much, name all the children of Io. I came up with the idea for this panel last year after getting kind of frustrated with the Critical Role fandom and loving way too many of the parts of D&D that older grognards keep wanting to lecture me about. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to tell you about some cool stuff in D&D that you may or may not know about. And no, we cannot cover every cool thing in all 5 editions of D&D. But we're going to talk about what we think is cool. Mm-hmm. And if you don't think it's cool, it's not your panel. And we're happy to have you here. But this is what we think is cool.
There'll be a question section where you can tell us we're wrong. That's
please.
Like, that's my favorite part of panels, is where people tell me. Because you guys can tell us cool D&D stuff that we don't know, and when you ask questions.
We do ask that any cool D&D stuff you tell us is published.
Yep.
We would love to hear about your cool personal D&D stories when we're not in a panel.
Absolutely.
So before we begin, who the fuck are these people and why are they telling you about D&D? Hi, my name is Jacqueline Brick. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, and fey, femme in roughly order of preference. I am a published freelance author, game designer, editor, LARP designer. I've done a whole bunch of stuff. I wrote the appendix for Considerate Play in Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. I've worked on Magic the Gathering. I have worked on most of the World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness lines at this point. And I started playing D&D when I was 6 years old. So back when dinosaurs roamed the earth at this point. And who's
You're
this?
younger than me.
I know.
I hate that. Hi, I'm Steve Tasker. I'm also a freelance writer. I've done work for Paradigm. I've done work for Onyx Path. I mainly work on Trinity. I'm the LARP coordinator and department head here at MAGFest. I've been coming here for like 10 years now doing that. So I recognize one or two of you actually from the department. So thanks for coming.
Guys, there's plenty of seats in the front. Please come down and sit. It's totally fine. We will bite if you ask nicely.
Yeah.
We have established this.
And I've been playing D&D not as long as Jax. I started when I was like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, so before this panel, I decided to go on Twitter, which, as we all know, is a multifarious hellscape. And I decided to go ask someone who knew a great deal about the worlds of D&D what I should tell you all. So I asked Zanzost, who is a blues lad written by Ray Valise, and I said, "Hello, Zanzost. I know you and your friend Ray are very diligent and important planar explorers, and I am running a panel at MAGFest about things people may not know about the planes. What is something you would like to share with the primes?" To which this blues slod, who is eating his way across several D&D worlds at this point, responded, "Hey, Rufflejacks, they should learn the multiverse rule of 4. 1, Slat-Eye are the toughest bashers on the plains. 2, elves make fun noises when you break them. And 3, food that says, wait, please do not eat me, tastes the best. The plains are full of this kind of food." So, unlike Zanzost, again, I don't bite unless given consent, but we're going to talk a little bit more about Zanzost when we talk about Planescape. Zanzost just happens to be one of my favorite NPCs. So how did you get into D&D, Tasker?
So my path to playing D&D and tabletop games as a whole and writing them and all that starts with video games, like I'm sure is becoming more and more common. The Infinity Engine. Did anyone here play Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah, I was literally just about to.
Yeah, I see a lot.
Show me the hands. This is nothing to be ashamed of. It is an amazing game.
It's awesome. Did anyone here play Baldur's Gate 2?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Those are my people.
What about Neverwinter Nights? Yeah, those are my people.
All right, Planescape Torment. Hey,
Woo!
Yeah, cool, awesome. We're going to talk about...
Okay, wait, hold on. Dark Queen of Krynn. No one. Ouch.
Oh, I guess the hardest one, Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh,
hey, yeah, I see a couple...
Hey.
We're all old. All of us are old now.
No one is apparently older than me in terms of playing games on 4 floppy disks.
That's fair.
All right.
But yeah, Baldur's Gate 2 was my first real, exposure to D&D. And, well, a lot of people, we talk about the dragons, we talk about the dungeons. For me, my first D&D experience was meeting a man named Minsk. And going up to him and talking to him. Well, he's stuck in a cage, and the cage has no keyhole. And you have to make him very angry to get him out. And while doing this, you realize that while you have been stripped, totally free of all of your stuff, he has a hamster with him, which he tells you is a miniature giant space hamster. And his name is Boo. And when you ask him how he still has Boo, he informs you very proudly that Boo was where the sun doesn't shine. And in this moment, I knew I was going to devote my life to role-playing games because hamsters in the butt apparently is where I really come from. But Minsk is one of the great insane characters of D&D. He's such an interesting character that they felt the need to turn him into a stone statue and have birds poop on him for like 500 years between editions, just so that they could have him still be alive in the most recent games and actually in a comic book series too. And of course, Boo was petrified as well and came with him, not in his buttocks this time.
So. Very important. Who can tell me where Boo aims for? There you go. Thank you. That's what I wanted. So my experience is a little bit different. My dad played D&D since Chainmail came out, and he started me playing Diablo when I was way too young to be playing Diablo. But I'm also Catholic, so it's fine. I started playing Neverwinter Nights around the age of 6 or 7. Oops, sorry. I don't want to do Elminster yet. Stop hogging the attention. Hold on, sorry guys.
It wouldn't be a D&D panel without him jumping ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Like I said, this is intentionally the single dumbest PowerPoint you've ever seen, so just get ready for it to get wilder. So I'm 6 or 7 years old. I'm a kid. I'm playing Neverwinter Nights, and all of a sudden, as I get into the main area of the Temple of Tyr, I see this woman in armor. And she tells me she's so proud of me. And in that moment, I realized, wow, I'm going to realize I'm a bisexual someday. But Arabeth de Tilmarand was sort of my gateway drug into D&D. Her story, her history, her voice actress. I basically played any character I could to get Arabeth's approbation. And I was so mad when she turned into a blackguard at the end of that game, and that is a female character. You're not allowed to romance her out of that. Very disappointing, but I think in the updated remastered version you can. I haven't gotten that far yet. But
we'll score one for guys. We can. We really needed one.
I am going to punch you in the spleen. I will reach into your spleen. All right, but actually my first tabletop character was a paladin because of Arabeth. And if y'all think paladins are boring, you got another thing coming, but that's okay. We're going to go to the next slide because we're going to talk about something who is never boring unless you don't like self-inserts and Mary Sue's. What the fuck is up with Elminster? How many of you have seen this motherfucker in your games, in stuff you've read? Amazing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Elminster. Do we want to start with him being Ed Greenwood's bestie, or?
Oh, sure. So after that, then I do have a question for the audience. But so one of the most interesting things about Elminster is that he frequently comes to this world. Him and
Raslin Majiri.
Raslin, and there's another one too who I wrote down.
It is Mordenkainen from Greyhawk.
Right, Mordenkainen of the Sword. Fame, Mordenkainen's floating blade and a couple of other spells, come to Earth and sit in Ed Greenwood's house.
They play poker.
And play poker and talk about metaphysics. But the weirdest part about this is that, like some creepy voyeur, Ed Greenwood hides throughout his house to look at them. So when you look at pictures from these old Dragon magazines, you'll see like eyes coming out of the statues or out of a suit of armor most commonly, as he's like doing like a creepy voyeur. And he wrote himself into this role as like a creepy voyeur of the mages of the different D&D realms. And yeah, they just come in and take his house and make him sit in armor for a couple of hours while he writes stuff down. Just Ed Greenwood's an interesting guy.
He's special.
I was always on Team Salvatore. I read all of those when I was a kid. I didn't read much Elminster.
They're not opposing. Salvatore literally went and looked at Ed Greenwood's world and went, "Let's fucking go."
Nope, teams. Twilight told me we need teams.
We need teams.
We need teams.
Oh, okay. Well, you wanted to ask the audience a question, so I'm on Team Ask the Audience a question.
Yeah. So, is Elminster trans? How many people think Elminster is trans?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to tell you guys the story, and then we're going to take that poll in a second here.
I am, however, going to tell you that regardless of your answer, Elminster did say trans rights. That's just canon.
Absolutely.
Elminster said trans rights.
Yeah, he's definitely an ally. I don't think any of us can say he's not an ally. But so in one of the very early stories, and this is Ed Greenwood's personal insert into the D&D world. In one of the very early stories, he is talking to Mystra, and Mystra decides that in order to truly understand magic, because she is magic, Elminster must be a woman. And so she transforms him into a woman for the remainder of this book and then transforms him back. Him being a woman doesn't really have any bearing on the story itself. And he spends, I think, if I remember, it's been a while since I read it, but he spends about 10 years as a woman before being changed back by Mystra.
She goes by Elmara at this point.
Yes, to better understand magic. At the end of it, he has a better understanding of magic. This never comes up in any other mage's journey. No mage is as powerful as Elminster, so maybe that's why. But this never comes up, so I've always just held that she is just screwing with him. This is purely for her own amusement, because she's
the god
like
of magic.
That.
She's
Yeah.
She's chaotic good.
So, yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't screw with people.
No, I'm saying that you can screw. Chaotic good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's my story of is Elminster trans? Maybe.
Is Elminster trans?
Yeah.
Hands?
Did I get anyone? Did I convince anyone?
Got a couple people. Elminster,
all right, cool.
Elminster did say trans rights, and this man has been the lover of so many other named NPCs. In the setting, I think 2 of the 7 sisters who were the daughters of Mystra. He and Kelvin Blackstaff had a really noisy breakup at one point. Also, if you've ever heard the term on the internet, dying wizard, it's also known as Civil War missive. It's when a guy starts talking to you as though he's writing from a frickin' quill pen, and he needs to point out how right he is. That actually refers to if someone starts monologuing like Elminster or Rastlin Majiri, they are a dying wizard. But yeah, Elminster being Ed Greenwood's self-insert also comes with its own fun little backlash because a lot of people do not like Elminster because he's just kind of there and can do anything. And at one point in Dragon Magazine, there was a how do you kill Elminster contest. And the answer was with time and patience, because the way he's built, at least in 3rd edition, makes him more unkillable than an Elder Gold Dragon. He has several prestige. I don't remember the exact build, but he's got several prestige classes. He's got psionics, and he's also a wizard. And he also has this sword that you can see here that is an artifact. And there were actual calls sent out to try and defeat Elminster, and only a couple of people succeeded.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you take back before they stopped really publishing, actually I don't know. I don't know if they published gods in 5th edition. I don't think I've seen any gods statted out.
I don't think they have deities and demigods.
But back when they did publish gods, Elminster. Oh, Nebulous. Yes, one.
She
count that
is one of the children of Io, though, so good job.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good call. But back when they did in 3rd edition, printed up the deities and demigods, I mean, Elminster's sheet would just tear them to shreds.
Yep.
There are no 2 gods who could kill Elminster.
You'd have to be a greater.
He is by far the most powerful thing in the D&D world.
In most of Planescape at this point. We're going to talk about Planescape a little bit.
Yes.
But before we do, what's a Dark Sun? I love Dark Sun. Oh my god. So once upon a time, who here knows about Dark Sun? Okay, so most of the room. So I only have to say once upon a time there was a world full of halflings who wanted to harness the power of the sun in order to better their sorcery, and then wound up turning into the world into a hellish psionic wasteland. And also now all the halflings are cannibal warlords, and they are the default race on this world. Sorry, default species, my bad. I freaking love Dark Sun. Dark Sun is what is referred to, I discovered recently, as planetary romance. It's also called, what's it called? Sword and Spaceship is another version. The idea is it's supposed to be closer to Dune than Lord of the Rings. And we actually do not have any official published material for it past 2E, although there was a 3E compatible campaign guide, and crossing my fingers for a 5E version because I really want more people to get into Dark Sun. Was there? Oh my god. Oh, well, see, as much as I am enjoying doing this panel, I don't know everything about D&D, so I'm just telling people what I think is interesting that I know, but thank you for letting me know that. I will have to check that out. Also, by the way, 4E was deeply overlooked and more people need to be into it. It's an awesome system. I am a 3.5 girl myself, but that's because I grew up with it, and I love 4E.
I'm a dirty Paizo trader now.
Oh, gross.
As of 5th, but yeah, I do love all the worlds. So
I mean, I'm a snobby, bitchy indie gamer who no one wants to hang out with, so, you know. Yeah, something I discovered recently while putting together this panel is there is actually a lake called the Last Sea, which I have put down here, just under the Dark Sun. People got really angry about this. There were whole forum wars about the Last Sea because the biggest sea in Dark Sun is the Sea of Silt, which is just a lot of toxins and loose dirt that has the same series of tides as an ocean, but angrier. And it has psionic storms that float over it, but for some reason, the designers of Dark Sun decided, you know what? We are going to put actual water from the Blue Age on this planet. And also, there will be surfers. There will be a surfing contest on this lake. There are literal surfing beaches on the Last Sea. Yeah, I love Dark Sun so much. It's got a lot of city-state politics. You can see here I have two of the Sorcerer Kings, one of whom is a orcish sorceress, and the other of whom is a frickin' dragon with an orb. And they are some of the last bastions of magic in this world because magic left this world a shriveled husk. And everybody uses psionics now. It is actually one of the only settings where psionics is workable, and I find fun to use in the setting, but that's because it's specifically structured to do that. I'm getting a lot of blank stares, so unless anyone has any questions or thoughts about Dark Sun, I'm going to move on. Seeing none. Planescape!
Planescape's so good.
Planescape's so fucking good, y'all. Planescape actually technically comprises every single world of D&D, plus every single other world that could be, is, or was, as part of the prime material. I think a lot of times when people say prime material, what they're thinking of is, the setting of my campaign, and forget that, for example, Spelljammer mostly takes place in the prime material in the actual spaces between worlds. Forgotten Realms has its own intra-cosmology, like it takes place in a galaxy. If you've played Baldur's Gate 3, you would have dealt with Glyph, which is the planetoid that hosts the Illithid. But that's all still technically prime material. With Planescape, what you have is a giant ring of infinite worlds surrounding this prime material, and I have pictures of two of my favorites, Mount Celestia and the Nine Hells, and we also have a lovely little Modron here. We love Modrons. I can see. Thank you for that expression, because I love Modron. Literally, I look at a frickin' Modron, and all I can hear is the Colonel Boogie Mars, like, do, 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 and like, oh, there they go. And then all my thoughts are gone because, oh, look at the Modrons. They are marching. Speaking of which, tell us about some Modrons.
Yeah, so something that I, whenever I mentioned about Modrons, that people who play D&D for a long time sometimes get and sometimes don't get, is that they're just dice. They're just dice people. It's you fighting your dice. When you when you don't have minis and you put dice on the table, you're fighting Modrons. Everyone here has fought more Modrons than anything else. And Modrons are the lawful neutral, actually hedging more towards axiomatic when that was like something that we really still talked about as an alignment that something could be.
We can get back to that in a minute.
Squares and different. They have a whole hierarchical system based on their number of sides. And in at least one edition, the D20 is of course the king among the Modrons. That it is the king of D20. It is the king of D&D as well.
I'm just going to take a minute to invite people who are standing in the back to please come forward. We love you.
Yeah, there's lots of seats up here.
Yeah, there's so many seats. Please have a seat. Don't wear out your legs.
Don't feel forced either, though.
You have more walking to do this weekend. Okay.
You do. But specifically the D6, to me, is always going to sound like Homer Simpson. And when I say that doesn't make a lot of sense. But the only one that's been voiced, to my knowledge, the only time is Nordum from Planescape Torment, who is one of your companions. And if people here haven't played Planescape Torment, you really enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3.
Please go play it.
Please go play Planescape Torment if you can get over the terrible graphics.
There's a remaster out, I think.
It's still ugly.
Sure.
The Infinity Engine games of Baldur's Gate 2.
How dare you say that about my girlfriend?
Neverwinter Nights is slightly less ugly.
I was also referring to Fall from Grace, who we will be talking about in the NPCs I am canonically dating.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's an ugly game, but it's fantastic.
The music is so good.
The music's so good. The character work is so good. The Nameless One is probably one of the best protagonists in D&D, and probably one of the best protagonists in video gaming, I would say, too, like if we're making a top 50 list. Nordum is a D6, and he is voiced by Dan Castellaneta. So whenever I see him, when I'm back, I just imagine, Nameless One. As he walks up, you walk up and you get I can't do a Homer Simpson voice. I'm not sure why, I just tried. But I always think about them as the entire race of D6s sound like Homer Simpson.
Oh, thanks.
I hate that.
A lot of times when people talk about Planescape, they talk about Seagull, or never pronounce it Sigil, because anyone in the city will instantly know you are not from the city if you pronounce it Sigil. And that is one of the...
To be fair, we'd all be tourists, though.
Yeah, we would all be primed. This is an ongoing joke in the books that people who pronounce it Sigil are backwards and clearly have never been in the plains before, don't know what they're doing, and are very easy to rob. So people pronounce it Sigil or Seagull. I like Seagull because it's loud and will steal your fries. Sigil, I've seen, although I don't quite get that one.
And just for people who don't know what we're talking about, in the center of that planescape...
I don't have a great wheel on here. I feel like I fucked up.
Well, you were aiming for fun.
Sure.
But it's a big ring, big flat ring, where all these different worlds go to. And in the center, there is Sigil or Sigil. It's spelled S-I-G-I-L. When you look at it,
spelled like the word.
Yeah. And it's ruled by a very powerful being who makes everyone sort of play nice.
She could kill all monster.
But
yeah, Lady of Pain.
The Lady of Pain.
Love her.
Yeah.
I have canonically tried to date her, but have settled for mazes instead. So basically, whenever I'm really stressed out, maze me, please.
I'm not sure I'm enough of a masochist for that.
Oh, I am.
But yeah, and so there are creatures from all over all of the planes go through Sigil. So it's one of the like two ways to connect the different planes of D&D together. The other one being Starjammer, which is
Spelljammer.
Huh?
Spelljammer.
I'm sorry. I called it, what did I say?
Starjammer.
Yeah, that's Cyclops' dad.
You're thinking of Starfinder, which is actually one of the three genders of role-playing games, because there's D&D and Pathfinder.
Yes.
And then there's Starfinder if you're spicy.
Yeah. for people who like Jedi, that's your third gender. But yeah, it's one of the ways to connect your. The other one is Spelljammer, which are basically big sailing ships that they have sails and everything, and they go through space.
Unless they have hamster wheels.
Or they have hamster wheels. There are all sorts of interesting. We could probably do an entire panel on ship designs and Spelljammer and what works and what doesn't.
But I did not put it on here because we could have done an entire panel on Spelljammer, and I want to do most of my panel on Planescape.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, the other way, which you didn't mention, is the astral plane, which I'm sure y'all know plenty about the astral plane. All my homies know about the astral plane.
The Gith live there. So
several types of Gith live there, yes.
Yep. Our good friend Lae'zel.
God's favorite princess.
Yep.
That's Lae'zel, right? That's not Shadowheart.
I think that's Shadowheart.
No, I'm a fake fan. Damn it.
Lae'zel's, what's it called when they're mean to you so that you like them in anime?
Oh, she's a there you go.
There you go, Tsundere.
Tsundere, yeah.
Very much is our favorite Tsundere.
She is. Yeah, she's up there. So I really love these two pictures. I'm going to tell you why. I actually do have a reason for having these two here instead of a photo of the Great Wheel. A photo as though the Great Wheel exists. Don't worry about it. My spirituality wasn't influenced by Planescape at all. It's fine. So the one that looks nicer to live in is Castle Malhavik on the shores of the Silver Sea in Celestia. And something I love about Planescape, because it's really easy to get sucked into the alignment system as ultimate determining factor of behavior, right? And I've seen discourse about this repeatedly. So I'm sure some of you have seen the discourse about mandatory species alignments on Twitter. Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. Okay. I love Planescape because while things do have an alignment, that alignment is not determinative. Malhavik was actually Monty Cook's PC, and he was a chaotic evil wizard. And he ended out his campaign deciding what he was going to do was build a castle on the shores of Mount Celestia and learn how to be good. And what he was going to do to learn how to be good is he was just going to give hospitality to anyone who asked for it. And his alignment is still technically chaotic evil, but he is doing his best. And that is something I love, is because there is space for that struggle in Planescape. There is space to learn and grow and be better and be kinder and be better at communicating and just be the sort of person you want to be. Like I believe there's also in the Beastlands, which is a chaotic good plane, there is a red dragon and a succubus who are hiding out from their respective superiors in the lower planes and trying to reform themselves as well. And you'll also see like strongholds of paladins in Hades, or you'll see different types of like just people being people. And that, I think, unfortunately, is one of the major weaknesses of D&D as I've seen it played, is this idea that, you know, people are always going to act according to the numbers on the sheet. And if we can get a little deep on this for a minute, that is something that caused me to stop playing D&D for a very long time, because it just felt like, okay, I kill monster, get treasure. I kill monster, get treasure. Oh, I have spec'd my character sheet wrong because I have not appropriately determined what the tactics of our group are going to be, and now people are going to yell at me because I decided to play a cleric with the travel domain. Something that brought me back to D&D was Planescape, was this gorgeous, luscious setting that had all of these possibilities in any configuration you could possibly want, and like, there are 1,000 different ways to go with it, but the main feature of Planescape is how people relate to each other and the world around them. And that is something that is so fucking cool about this setting, and something I would really like people to appreciate more, is not just the grandiosity of the setting, but also the way that the grandiosity of the setting allows for smaller, more intimate, more... what's the word I'm looking for?
Moments?
Yeah, well, no moments, but there's another adjective. I don't know, more moments that last with you. Moments that last with you longer, right? Like core moments in your game that just sort of make your game. Poignant. Thank you. Also, here's Zanzost. Speaking of poignant, we love him. He's conducting research. He's very, very good at science. I was going to tell you about Nessus, which is the other picture, which is basically kind of the opposite of Mount Celestia, and something I love about the Nine Hells of Bator is it's so rigidly regimented, and it is so much about the banality of evil, and it is so, like, how every little thing contributes to a greater, more destructive whole. And you go, as you go through the layers, you meet the different Lords of the Nine, and you can't get in without a letter from a Lord of the Nine, so you're going to have to meet one of them eventually. And you go down to Asmodeus' palace, and it's the biggest palace probably in the plains. And he's, this very suave man in robes and like long dark hair, and is like, "Hello, I am Asmodeus." And then you find out that not 20 miles away, in the deepest pit of Nessus, there is a giant serpent that is slowly bleeding out from its fall from the upper plains aeons ago. Nobody knows who it is. Well, nobody knows how it got there, but that is Asmodeus' true form. He is not this grand, in-control, suave general of the Nine Hells. He is a very hurt monstrosity slowly dying in the pits of hell. And I don't think I actually have to point out what the metaphor there is, but it is one of my favorite parts of Planescape. I cried the first time I read it. Is there anything you'd like to talk about for Planescape? Because, I could talk about freaking Planescape all day.
No, I mean, I think we hit all the major ones. One of the coolest ways, like I already said, was to experience it is to go play the game. The game really does capture it better than most other things. And it's still Jax is actually absolutely right. There's lots of cool role-play moments in there. Don't let that put you off running a game in Planescape, though, because it seems hard or anything. You can still just punch dragons in Planescape.
Oh, yeah, you can.
They're just going to have feelings about it and not just die. But you can still just go around kicking people off ledges and stuff. That's
do
fine.
whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do or not to do with your D&D game, but you came to my panel because you wanted to know what I thought was cool about D&D.
I am. Go play games in Planescape.
Yeah,
I'm
please
just
go
gonna tell
play
you
games
what
and
to
play.
do. Yeah.
Also, include Zanzost. We love Zanzost. He's so good. So he shows up in 2 books, and I don't care. He's perfect. To me, he is perfect. He's just here, and he's hungry, and I love him.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about him?
He responds to me on Twitter.
Yeah, but what does he do?
So Zanzost is a blue slod. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I have to go back to Zanzost. It's very important. Here's the boy. Hello, boy. Oh my god.
Slot are cool because frogs are one of the best animals.
I mean, they're
Big,
also
evil
kind
frogs.
of lobsters. Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm going to unplug this real fast. Tasker, can you vamp for me for a second?
Just talk?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So slot are cool. How many people know what slot are? Yes. Okay, cool. Slot are cool. They stand at the well of, chaos and murder anything that isn't frog-shaped. That's kind of awesome.
lobster-shaped.
Or lobster. Well, slod-shaped. I think of them as frogs. I suppose they could be lobster frogs.
The red ones look like lobsters.
Do the red ones look like lobsters?
They do. They have big claws.
Oh, wow. All right. I guess I'm letting there was a terrible game that came out, but I bought it because it had Drizzt in it, where you just play as 3 people killing Slod. It was on PS2. I think it was Dragon Siege or something. It's a Faerunian game. It's very strange, but you have a fighter, wizard, and rogue, and you just murder thousands of Slod.
I'm not even going to say why do you murder Slod, because the question on my shirt is answered by the question on my shirt.
What is the question? I don't think everyone
that's
can
a
see your
metaphor.
shirt. Oh, okay, right.
Because if you had a shirt that says this game lets you kill Slod, it's why you kill Slod? The question you are asking me is answered by my shirt.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, my shirt says Delta Green, which is not D&D, but if you want to talk to me about Delta Green, man, I fucking love Delta Green. Holy shit.
Delta Green being a different TTRPG.
Yes. If you haven't played Delta Green, side note, it's an investigative Cthulhu RPG. It's really cool. So here's Zanzost. He's a blue Slod, which means that he's actually a young adult of the Slod because they sort of grow up and change colors as they grow up. And his whole thing is he wants to put together a research manual on the plains. Except because he is Zanzost, this research manual comes in the form of a cookbook. He's amazing. He has, like I said, he showed up in 2 different books, and they were both about the Blood War. And they're all, whenever he shows up, it's always in first-person narration, but being as his first-person narration is him saying his name instead of saying I, you get a lot of things like, Zanzost decided to conduct some research on Vrox. This is what happened.
Excellent research, very thorough.
I know. He's so good at it. I'm so proud of him. He's my son. He's my son, and I love him. Oh my gosh, I could really go plane by plane with Planescape and say stuff I love, but we have about 25 minutes left, so I don't want to do that right now. But so another cool thing you should check out is Planescape Factions, which are hilariously, we're based off, if I remember correctly, we're based off of the 12 Clans of Vampire the Masquerade, because this Planescape was put out like a year or 2 after Vampire the Masquerade started. And they were like, oh, well, Vampire the Masquerade has these 12 archetypes, basically, and we don't want to get rid of our class system, but what if we gave you the ability to also have like a philosophy along with your class? So you've got the Sensates, who their whole thing is in order to understand the multiverse, you need to have experienced everything within it. You have the Sign of One, which are the guys who decide, well, if we are our perceptions, then the multiverse is us, and we are the multiverse, and everyone is just one big, essentially consensus reality creating the multiverse. You've got the Transcendent Order, who are like, well, we're all made out of stuff from the planes, so we are all the planes, and therefore you should act on your impulses, because that's how the planes are guiding you. Stuff like that. They get real weird. You have the Harmonium, who are basically cops, and nobody likes the Harmonium. And then you've got the Mercy Killers, who are cops with their badge cams turned off. And they also suck. There's a lot of them. Like I said, there's 12 or 13, and you should definitely check out the factions in Planescape. If you Google Planescape factions, you should be able to find them. I'm a Sensate. I love the Sensates. I think they're such a cool faction. I love the idea that you have to experience things in order to know them. And one of their things is, if you are just seeking out good or pleasurable experiences, that's great. But we will actually kick you out of our order if that's all you are doing. You need to be able to contribute to our order by bringing back memories and discussions of experiences you have had beyond the boundaries of Seagull. Well, I'm going to switch.
I always
now.
thought the Dustmen were pretty cool too.
The Dustmen?
The ones who want to die or who
don't really
want death.
want to die.
Yeah, they're like studying death.
But they're studying entropy.
Yeah.
So
Elder Evils, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Dark Sun already. Definitely check out the original Dark Sun books. They're amazing. Hellbound the Blood War is probably one of my favorite books for Planescape that isn't just descriptions of planes. It's a really cool dive into the war between the devils and the demons, or the Tenari and the Betezu, thank you. The Tenari and the Betezu, as they were called because of the Satanic Panic. It's one of my favorite little things, is they were originally supposed to be called Devils and Demons, but then the Satanic Panic hit, and they're like, we would like to stay in business. So we're just going to call them something else. And then, of course, once we got over part of that, I say part of that, thanks QAnon. Once we got over part of that, they were able to sort of bring it back, but Tenari and Betezu have always sort of remained synonyms for the factions. Hellbound the Blood War, very cool supplement for not only the politics between the two factions and their battlegrounds, but also internal politics and why people are fighting the war and who's really invested in the war. And gosh, the Yugoloths are weird, aren't they? Wonder what they have to do with this. Yugoloths are weird. I love them. Yugoloths are kind of they're the third way faction of the lower planes. And I say faction, I mean species, but Elder Evils for 3.5. Super cool book. Really interesting way to do chthonic horrors that is not just fully Cthulhu. Pandarum and Atropos, I think, are my favorites. Pandarum is a mind trapped in a crystal, and its body is trapped somewhere else. And you have to go destroy the mind before it gets to the body. And Atropos is just an undead moon. It hates you. It's Mask of Majora, but worse. Better worse. Like more happening.
My favorite Legend of Zelda game, Mask of Majora.
Wasn't it Mask of Majora?
It's Majora's Mask. I was just making fun of how you pronounced it. I'm being a jerk.
Okay, so after your spleen, right? Thank you. You read my mind.
Ooh, right in the poison sack.
Speaking of poison sack, Heroes of Horror. So this book is So this book is a little weird. And that's why I put it under weird books to check out. I love Heroes of Horror. I will tell you unashamedly that Heroes of Horror is the reason I became a horror writer in the first place. It is not a good book for D&D. It is an excellent book written under the D&D auspices. The writer is one of my friends, Ari Marmel. Just an amazing dude all around. Good for you.
Someone got a crit?
Fuck you too, my guy?
Okay, maybe it was a crit fail.
No, all I heard is "fuck you, I did it." So like "fuck you too, my guy." Have a good day. I love it when that happens. Heroes of Horror unfortunately tried to do the impossible, which is having a horror game in a tactical combat simulator. And yes, you can do plenty of roleplay in D&D. Please don't think I am saying you cannot roleplay in D&D. But the core mechanical thing that D&D is built around. Oh my God!
I turned it off.
Why did you put your vibrator on the table?
I did better than in the sink.
No, at least in the sink it would be clean.
Yeah, but then it's touching your dishes.
Did I say it mattered? Anyway, but the core mechanical loop of D&D is fight monster, get treasure. Because most of the mechanics in D&D are built around combat. Yes, you have diplomacy, you have, not subterfuge. That's vampire. You have...
Politics?
Yeah, sure, perception, fine. I can perceive things. I'm so good at this. But, yeah, no, you have other skills, obviously, but given the space devoted to combat versus the space in the rules devoted to literally anything else, your core loop of D&D is fight monsters, get treasure. Mm-hmm. Heroes of Horror tried to insert consensual disempowerment and suspense into that, and that's hard because I don't know. Let's take a quick poll of the room, and feel free to raise your hand and answer. I'll call on a couple of people. Your character is suddenly trapped in a house surrounded by jack-o'-lanterns grinning at them with, I don't know, that's an effect similar to a Tanglefoot bag. And there is mist rapidly coming in and clouding their eyesight. What are they going to do?
Fireball.
Good answer.
There you go. Any other good ones?
Classic.
Always a good one.
Yeah.
Dimension door, yeah. Just get out.
There you go.
You can't be trapped.
And you
go ahead.
Contact other plane, call on one of my friends. Hey, Mr. Angel, get me out here.
Yep.
Absolutely. Bring in a planer.
That's how I solve most of my problems. Yeah, but yeah.
Something to add, if you want D&D horror, play first edition.
Oh, Thaco.
You can get one shot at any level, and Undead are the scariest things you'll ever play. You can take the level.
Sure can.
True.
I-
Back when negative levels were true.
Yeah, but see, even at that point, the horror comes through combat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're just dead. Oh no, it's a Bodoc. Great, game over. Can we go get coffee? But yeah, no, the horror comes through something being more powerful than you or combat. You are not having the sort of investigative horror that that this book wanted you to play. You're not having like creeping. I mean, there's a spell called Creeping Doom, obviously, but you're not having like the sort of creeping doom you'd get in a Cthulhu game. But Heroes of Horror specifically explains to people who are used to running D&D how to run horror, block by block. Here's how you do themes. Here's how you do atmosphere. Here's how you work with your players to make sure they are having the experience they signed up for. Like, it is an incredible book, and I strongly suggest it if you're interested in running something other than D&D. I reread it once a year, and, sometimes I discover something new. Sometimes I'm just kind of like, this was nice to reread. What other books? Because, we talked about my 4. Do you
What
have any?
other books?
Yeah, any other weird books. Yeah, what? Book of Vile Darkness is slightly less good Heroes of Horror, honestly. Although they do have these little imps on the pages that, sit at the bottom of each page and, bite the edges of the pages. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a D&D book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it.
I really like the Book of Aberrations.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah. Go for it.
Wanderer's Guide to Mercy and Magic.
Ooh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. Deities and Demigods is probably my favorite weird one. You can find out a lot of weird stuff that's still technically canon for the gods in Faerun and other associated planes, like Tyr, right? People are familiar with Tyr, god of justice. He is just the Norse god.
Yep.
He is not actually. It's not a different guy. He is just the Norse god. He just kind of walked from post Ragnarok to Faerun, and they were like, yeah, you could be a god here too. Sure, whatever.
Lucas does the same thing.
Yep, he is a Mulherandi god.
He shows up on the astral plane and beats up people who are listening to dead gods' body parts.
Yep.
That I did not know.
Yeah, he has other duties, so if you damage the astral plane, he was very unhappy.
I mean, I would be unhappy too if I was god of the dead and someone's like, oh. All right, what do I have next? Yeah, by the way, here's the Children of Io. If you came to this panel to learn the Children of Io.
Everyone who walked out, who left already, they really missed out.
They missed the Children
on
of
the
Io.
children. Yeah, the title.
They messed up. There you go. Asterinian is my favorite, classically. Asterinian is a brass dragon who is Io's messenger and is just chaotic neutral and amazing, and I love her. Technically, all of the draconic deities are children of Io, as Io is the ninefold dragon, and all dragons spawn from him. But I chose these guys because they are canonically children of Io, and also it's my panel. But the biggest ones are, of course, Bahamut and Tiamat, which, by the way, Tiamat was the big bad in Dark Queen of Krynn because she was trying to take over Krynn. And what? I see.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, shoot.
Why do you think Tiamat's stuck in Avernus and current canon?
I mean, if I were a dragon goddess and, I wanted a great deal of power and not a lot of people trying to, wreck my shit, I'd probably go to the plane that I need a visa to get into.
It seems like it's jumping her out of the way for someone who.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I also think because Bahamut is in Mount Celestia, which is essentially the brighter mirror of because the 7 heavens and the 9 hells, So having the twins be on opposite ends of the planar spectrum probably leads to a lot of less family squabbles.
She was also so prominent a couple of years ago when they did that. I mean, after you do something with a big villain like that, you have to kind of either kill them or you have to push them aside. Otherwise, everyone just goes, well, why isn't Tiamat coming over and killing all these people?
You
right?
basically got to do an eco bolus to them.
Yeah. The Red Wizards of Thay are an issue. Tiamat is right over there and just blew up a town again, right? So you got to kind of like, and you're not in the spotlight now. So.
Yep. You're welcome. Yeah. Any other questions about the Children of Io? Oh.
Just another Gygax?
No, I don't believe so. I think it might be another Gygax name. I don't. Hold on. Because I know most of these. Garrix is not one of the ones I know off the top of my head. I know. I'm a fake fan. I'm terrible. Hold on.
Yeah, I've seen Garrix written before, and until you just pointed out, I'm like, that's probably a Gygax. Like,
I mean,
it would make sense that it is.
Garrix is the chaotic evil god of destruction and renewal, so 50-50.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting dragon gods because of the ways dragons handle things differently. You have Falazar, who's your, I believe, god of undeath, and Draco Liches. He's pretty cool. Bahamut has always been a favorite of mine, but I also really like metallic dragons. So
we got a hand up back there. Hey, what's up?
Chronepis? Chronepsis?
It does look like crone piss, I agree. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's not crone piss.
Final Fantasy has ruined me, so I was just like locked onto Bahamut. But yeah, that definitely looks like crone piss.
Okay, so he is the dragon deity of fate, death, and judgment. And piss.
And piss, yeah.
I mean, I did say judgment, so, just peeing on you from a great height. He's a dragon, so he has to get up there first. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wow, it's almost like living weapons of mass destruction have a lot of gods of death. What do I have next? Oh, yeah, here's the NPCs I'm canonically dating.
Well, give us some names.
Oh, hell yeah. That is my boyfriend. Red Wizards, the undead Red Wizard of Thay who's trying to make a horrific necropolis. What?
Goth.
Hey.
Jock.
Hey. Whoa. So this is it. That's right. That's right. And I missed some people, but these are the 4 I could fit on, my 4 most important partners. I have Erin Darkflame Montgomery up here. She is the neutral good head of the Sensates. You can tell because she's vibing. This is my girlfriend, Reese, of the Transcendent Order. Well, we don't really call each other girlfriends because their whole thing is like you have to go with the vibes of the planes and you go with whatever's comfortable at that time. So we're doing that. You all know my boyfriend's ass Tom, obviously. Fucking duh. And of course the god of the dawn of Faerun, Lathander. We love him. He's beautiful. I don't know where he got that baby. I have been very afraid to ask where he got that baby.
But the polycule needs to raise it now.
He can raise. I'm not raising it. I have enough to do. Hold on, I gotta make a call. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's see. There you go. Undead don't sleep. So you got someone on the day, and then when Lathander's going to bed, and well, also you can't tell Lathander I'm also dating his sister because that's weird. I didn't put Salune on this list, but we'll get around to it eventually. I don't know. So we can't tell you everything there is to know about D&D lore in an hour, but we can tell you some weird shit. Here's a flump.
Yep.
We love a flump. Thank you for coming. We still have 10 minutes left, so I would love some questions, comments, concerns.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
What's your favorite prestige class?
Horizon Walker.
My favorite prestige class. It was one of the Eldritch Knight ones, like one of the 8 million Eldritch Knight variants. Eldritch Sword or something. Spell Sword? Yeah, it was Spell Sword from 3.5. What a stupid broken class. What a dumb. What a dumb
Elminster.
class.
Elminster was a spell sword.
I think he definitely was among his classes. What a dumb, overpowered class. I love it.
Yep.
Shadow Walker is probably my favorite. That isn't just because it's overpowered, but I love the idea of jumping through the. I played a paladin one that went Shadow Walker for a while. That was really cool.
That is cool. So do you guys want to know a stupid, misogynistic prestige class? So there is a prestige class from 3.5 called Silver Heart. And it... someone knows what the Silver Heart is. It is a prestige class you can only take if you are a humanoid female who has not had sex yet. And you ride a unicorn. And you have magical unicorn paladin powers. And if you ever have sex, you lose the prestige class entirely and do not get the levels back.
Man, talk about punishing people. That's terrible. Thank you. Had your hand up?
Yeah. Is there, and I acknowledge,
It's okay.
is there a god in the realms or the planes that walks the planes or coexists with humanity or with the various beings that live there, but that does not exert any power because of their respect for other beings' free will?
That's interesting. So the question was, is there a god that walks the planes with humanity or humanoids or sentient beings and does not exert power because of their respect for them? I don't think there is in canon. I know Agma walks the planes, but he has a realm, and I think all gods technically have realms because that is the core of their power.
Yeah, there's several neutral gods. There are neutral gods of wandering, the unicorn god even is supposedly wanders, who the one Drizzt worships,
Maliki, yep.
Is said to wander around.
Your leaky what?
And there might even be one who doesn't really interact or intercede.
I would think that they do interact or intercede because of that, that ultimate respect. That, if you were to exert power in a godly way, personally, in a godly way, that would essentially create a thrall of anyone that witnessed that, right?
No.
Depends.
Well, if
Depends on the viewpoints of the god, but
Yeah.
if someone witnessed something that was
Fuck you too.
yeah, I get what you're talking.
like the giant red dragon showing up on
Uh-huh.
the doorstep, the potential for that is
Yeah, no, that'll fuck you
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I get the reason why we probably wouldn't know what it is, though, is because when they write these stories, they write about things that they do, and the character that you're talking about would fundamentally not show up very much as a sort of Watcher-esque figure.
It is worth noting gods do have avatars, or they also have champions who they send throughout the planes to do their bidding for them, sometimes because being in a god's presence can be so overwhelming. So you do have characters like that who are not necessarily the gods themselves.
Yeah.
There is a god of material plane that's Farley, the Grey Hawk god of wanderers.
Which
Yeah.
one is that? Ferlangen. Okay. He does have a realm, though, I believe. Because all gods have realms, and all gods are supported by worship.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got someone far back.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not sure if you know, in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they recently remastered everything, and the process removed the console line entirely.
Yep.
These are things you like, these are things you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it all. Just changing up a very alignment-based game. What do you think about removing alignment? The concept of removing alignment in something like this?
So, because D&D is so specifically structured around tactics, to be fair, Pathfinder is also a tactical simulator that gets crunchy in different ways. You can remove alignment from D&D. It gets kind of tricky because you have to remove a solid eighth of the spells at that point. It can be done. And I've seen people run Planescape games without alignment and specifically just focusing on the ethos of the various factions instead. So, yes, but...
I said earlier, I am a dirty traitor to Paizo in my tactical, role-playing games when I'm playing that sort of thing. And I would absolutely run Planescape in PF2 at this point. I think it's probably slightly better. Like, you need to ad hoc either way, you're going to have to ad hoc something if you're trying to do it in 5e or if you're trying to do it in Pathfinder 2. So I would probably make that choice. I think it'd be kind of fun.
They have a Planescape out in 5e too. I haven't read it yet because I'm very scared.
I haven't read it either. Oh
Right.
yeah. She was talking about Planescape has been is in 5e.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet though.
Yes.
Yeah, what's up?
You guys have a favorite 5e campaign setting or book?
I have not played a lot of 5e, so I am not particularly equipped to answer this question. I'm just going to throw out Planescape because Planescape just came out for 5e. But
I mean, I like running and playing in Faerun. Faerun is a huge setting.
my boyfriend's there. At least two of them.
Of course, the names escape me. The really evil one with the vampire god.
Oh, Ravenloft.
Yeah, Ravenloft is also fun.
I also went Ravenhawk.
Yeah, Crystal Strahd, also a super fun one.
Fun fact: you can only escape Ravenloft on a Spelljammer. That is one of a couple ways that you can escape Ravenloft.
I really liked the Ravnica book that they put out too. I thought that was really fun. I'm not even a big Magic player. I wish that book was longer.
Thank you, Flump,
as far as
for
like the
telling me
campaign
my
setting, I
battery's
think
low.
that they could have really done a lot more there and maybe had something that was like really engaging and grabbing. Yeah, what's up?
The Lost Mine Phandelver.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Lost Mine Phandelver.
Uh-huh.
Below.
Uh huh.
Did you enjoy, or do you enjoy the Sword Coast? Or?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It is the
absolutely.
only unforgotten of the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. No one ever forgets the Sword
Everybody
Coast.
knows.
Anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Yeah, sure.
Your favorite systems other than D&D?
Oh boy, how long do you have?
Let's do a top three. We're actually over time already.
Oh God, you go first.
I hate you. World of Darkness, the Old World of Darkness.
Do you mean Chronicles of Darkness and Old World of Darkness?
No, I'm just specifically I was saying Old World of Darkness. I like probably is like top three. Pathfinder, obviously I like a lot. Masks, which is a
Powered by the Apocalypse.
Powered by the Apocalypse game, is a lot of fun. I just started. I wouldn't recommend it yet, but I am playing the new 616 Marvel game. It's probably a good transition to doing not. It's very D&D-esque in its setup, so it's probably a great transitionary game if you were trying to get a group. And it's superheroes, so superheroes is fun. So yeah.
In ascending order, Bluebeard's Bride, Delta Green, and Cult Divinity Lost.
Oh yeah. Cult
I
Spirit,
forgot Amber Diceless. How did I forget Amber Diceless? Amber Diceless is my favorite system.
I forgot Exalted.
Amber Diceless is my favorite system.
Exalted 2e is a lot of fun.
I
too.
really want to run Planescape and Amber Diceless. That would be so fucking cool.
Well, thank you guys all
Thank
so
you
much
all
for
so
joining
much
us.
for coming and for listening to what we have to say about D&D. I have business cards if you want to catch up with me. If not, that's cool too. I wouldn't want to catch up with me after this either. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to my dumb little panel. I have a solo panel later this week called Dancing with Myself, Learning How to Play Solo Games. So that'll be all about journaling games and games you can just play with yourself and a deck of cards and a Jenga tower. So be sure to come to that on Saturday if you're interested.
We're also both in the LARP room all week.
Yes, we're
so if
LARPing.
you want to just come
Come play
by
LARPs.
Magnolia 1 and 2, we'll
Yep.
be running games there.
If you want... What? So many.
I'd be happy to talk to you about it, not on my, I'm sure people want to leave. People are already getting up. I'd
Yes,
be happy to talk
if you want a business card, come up front. If not, I will see you around the con.